Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive today.
I'm excited to be here.
Me too. I think this topic is going to be really relevant for a lot of our listeners.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to be talking about motivation,
Yeah.
specifically when it comes to learning something new.
Right.
So I think we can all relate to that feeling of, you know,
Yeah.
wanting to learn something new or needing to, but just really struggling to get started.
Totally.
So we're going to kind of unpack that today
Okay.
and figure out why motivation is really the key ingredient to unlocking your learning
I like that. Unlocking your learning.
potential, yeah.
Yeah.
And by the end,
So
we'll give you guys some tips and tricks to kind of spark that learning fire within you.
I love it.
So to kick things off,
Yeah.
I think the main takeaway that I got from
Yeah.
all the material we were looking at was just how motivation is really like the engine
It really is.
that drives your learning.
Like without, you're not going to get very far.
Exactly. It's like trying to climb a mountain without any gear.
Right.
You're just not going to make it very far.
And it's interesting because it's not just about like willpower or something.
Right.
It actually changes how our brains work.
Oh, wow.
Makes us more curious,
Okay.
more determined,
Yeah.
even more resilient.
Yeah.
Like when we face those setbacks.
Yeah, because I know I definitely give up way too easily when I'm
Right.
not feeling motivated.
Well, and in that conversation.txt source,
Yes.
they were talking about how,
Alex and Rachel.
yeah, Alex and Rachel, exactly.
Yeah.
And they were saying how motivated learners actually become more like active participants
Oh, that's interesting.
in the learning process.
So they're not just passively taking in the information.
Exactly.
They're really like seeking it out.
Yeah, they're engaged. They're asking questions.
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of begs the question for all of our listeners out there.
Yeah.
What gets you super pumped to learn something new? That's a good one.
Have you ever thought about that? I think one of the big things that I got from like the conversation.txt source and the inner row other factors new.txt paper
Okay.
was that there are these like two main types of motivation.
Okay.
So you have
Entry?
external motivation and then internal motivation.
Got it.
So
So
it's-
like external would be like, I'm going to get a reward or.
Yeah, or like you need a certain skill to get that job you want.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Things like that. Okay, so those are powerful, obviously.
Huge. Yeah.
But you were saying internal is really what keeps you going.
Yeah, like think about the joy of learning, like being passionate about a subject.
Okay.
Just that curiosity that makes you want to keep learning more.
Yeah, it's like that whole saying,
What is it?
find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
If you're internally motivated, the learning is the reward.
I love that.
Yeah.
So is it always one or the other? Or
It can be a mix.
Okay.
Like, think about learning a language. So maybe getting a certificate is your initial push.
Okay, so that's external.
Exactly. But
Okay.
then as you get going, you realize you actually just really want to connect with other cultures.
Right. So then you're more internally motivated.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and that inner rows factors new.txt,
Yeah.
they were saying how sometimes like,
hmm
needing to succeed at something can actually spark a passion for it.
Oh, wow. So it can kind of go the other way around too.
It totally can.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It's like you stumble onto this interest you didn't even know you had.
So I guess it's not a one-size-fits-all
Not
all
anything.
thing.
No, you really have to figure out what works for you.
Right. And I think that's something that they really emphasize in conversation.txt.
Absolutely.
Like what works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly.
So it's all about understanding your own personal motivators.
Right, like what gets your learning engine going.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Hmm.
let's say you figured out
Yeah.
what motivates you.
Right.
What are some things that people can actually do
Yeah,
to,
what are some actionable things?
yeah, like boost their motivation?
Well, luckily for us, the Power of Motivation New.txt
Yes.
article actually had a ton of great tips.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was like a toolbox for your brain.
I like that. A toolbox for your brain.
Yeah.
So let's dive into those.
Okay.
First up,
Okay.
setting clear goals.
That's a classic.
I know it might sound basic,
It is.
but trust me,
It's important.
it's a total game changer.
Huge.
So instead of getting overwhelmed by like a giant,
Right.
scary goal,
Like, I'm going to learn everything about this.
yes, exactly,
Exactly.
like a week, you want to break it down into those
Yes.
bite-sized, achievable chunks.
Manageable steps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what else?
What's that?
Don't forget to celebrate those little wins along the way.
Oh, yeah. That's so important.
Because I think a lot of us, we get so caught up in
Yeah.
what we haven't achieved yet.
Like looking ahead to
Yeah.
the end goal.
Instead of recognizing how far we've already come.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I doing that?
So even a small victory is worth acknowledging.
It is.
And that's going to help keep that motivation.
Yeah, it's like that little
Yes.
boost that keeps you moving forward.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up,
Okay.
this is where I think things get really exciting.
All right.
It's all about connecting with your interests.
I love this one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite.
So
Tell me more.
it's about tapping into the things that you're already passionate about
Okay.
and figuring out how they relate to what you're trying to learn.
So it's like finding that personal connection.
Yes.
That makes you want to learn more.
Exactly. So instead of seeing learning as like
Right.
this chore, this thing you have to do,
It's a have to.
it's an opportunity to explore something that you genuinely care about.
Yes. I love that.
Like I always think about
Right.
learning a new language,
Oh, okay.
and let's say you're a total foodie. So imagine being able to use that language to order delicious dishes
Oh my God.
in a foreign country,
I love that.
to be able to like chat with the local chefs,
Yeah.
to really immerse yourself in the culture through food.
That would be amazing.
Right.
So suddenly learning verbs and vocabulary is about,
It's not just about the textbook.
it's not, it's about unlocking this whole world
Exact-
of amazing experiences.
Okay, so
Yeah.
speaking of unlocking new world,
Okay.
let's talk about creating a study plan.
Oh boy. Here we go.
I know.
Structure.
Some of you might be rolling your eyes at the thought of
I'm
structure,
sorry.
but hear me out.
It's important.
So it's not about being rigid.
No.
It's more about having like a roadmap.
A guide. Yeah.
Yes, a roadmap for your learning journey.
I like that.
A roadmap.
It helps you stay organized,
Okay.
allocate your time effectively,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps ensure consistent progress.
It makes sense.
And the beauty of a study plan is that it can be as flexible
As you need it to be.
because life happens.
Exactly, things come up.
Right.
So you need to be able to adapt.
Yeah.
So the key is to find a system that works for you,
Right.
whether it's a detailed timetable, a simple to-do list, or even just blocking out specific times in your day that are dedicated to learning.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
the article really emphasizes that it's not about
Mm-hmm.
creating this restrictive
Yeah.
schedule,
Right.
like a prison sentence.
Yeah, no, not all.
It's about finding that framework
Yeah.
that provides guidance and support,
Exactly.
but also allows for flexibility and adaptability.
I love that.
Okay, so next up,
Okay.
this is a tip that I personally swear by.
Oh, tell me.
It's changing your environment.
I like this one too.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you just need a change of scenery
Yes,
to
exactly.
get those creative juices flowing.
All it takes to reignite that learning spark is a fresh perspective.
Right.
Have you ever noticed how like studying in the same spot
Oh, yeah.
day after day
Co-
can make you feel,
Stagnant.
yes, or just uninspired?
Uninspired, for sure.
But switching things up,
yeah.
whether it's heading to a cozy coffee shop,
I love a good coffee shop.
finding a quiet corner in a library.
Or even just like rearranging your desk.
Yes, rearranging your study space
Yeah.
can do wonders.
It's like giving your brain a breath of fresh air,
Exactly.
a chance to see things from a new angle.
I love that. A breath of fresh air for your brain.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
the article also highlights the importance of seeking support
Oh, that's a good one.
when it comes to learning.
Because you don't have to do it alone.
You don't have to do it alone. That's such a good point.
Like learning can be so much more fun
Yeah.
and motivating when you have others
Yeah.
to kind of share the journey with.
Exactly. So think about like
Uh,
study
but
groups,
Study groups are great.
tutors, or
Mhm.
even just having a learning buddy.
Yeah. Somewhat kind of keep you accountable.
Yeah. And just to kind of share your struggles with.
Yeah, and celebrate your achievements.
Celebrate your achievements.
Right.
Bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
It can create a sense of community.
It does.
And it can also make you feel more accountable.
Yeah. You know, if you're working with someone else,
Yeah.
you're more likely to stay on track.
And don't underestimate the power of a mentor.
Oh, yeah, a mentor, huge.
Someone who's already walked the path that you're on
Right.
can offer invaluable guidance,
Totally.
support, and inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to a tip that's all about reclaiming your time
Okay.
and focus.
This is a big one.
Yes,
For me, at least.
it's eliminating distractions.
Oh, the distractions.
So this is where we have to be
real with ourselves.
brutally honest with ourselves
Yeah.
and identify our biggest time wasters,
Those sneaky little things that can just derail our best intentions.
like social media,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
notifications, that tempting TV show.
Right.
They can all lead us down.
Down the rabbit hole of procrastination. And once we've identified them,
Yeah.
we need to be proactive about minimizing them.
Yes.
So that might involve turning off notifications, setting designated study periods,
Right.
finding a quiet space
Love it.
where you can really focus.
It's all about creating that environment that's conducive to learning
Exactly.
and minimizing those tempting distractions.
And it's an ongoing process.
Oh, for sure.
Like, you're never really done.
Right.
It requires constant vigilance and a commitment to really prioritizing your learning goals.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about something that's essential for maintaining motivation,
What's that?
staying positive.
Oh, I love this one. So it's sort of important.
The article really emphasizes the importance of focusing on
Progress, not perfection.
progress, not perfection.
Yes.
We all have those moments of self-doubt
We do.
and frustration.
Especially when learning gets challenging.
Yeah,
Like, it's so easy to beat yourself up
totally.
over mistakes.
But we need to remember
Yeah.
that we are all works in progress.
I'm a work in progress for sure.
Exactly. So instead
Yeah.
of beating ourselves up over mistakes,
Right.
we need to be kind to ourselves.
Absolutely.
Recognize our efforts.
Yeah.
Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory
Yeah, this is a victory.
worth celebrating.
Definitely.
And building on that positivity,
Right.
the article suggests incorporating variety into your study routine.
Oh, variety is the spice of life.
Exactly.
Right.
So think about it. Would you want to eat the same meal every day?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Not for very long.
The same goes for learning.
I agree.
So if you're feeling bored or stuck,
Yeah.
try mixing things up.
Exactly.
Explore videos,
Videos are great.
podcasts,
Yeah.
interactive simulations,
We love those.
or even hands-on activities.
Oh, hands-on is the best.
Right, so the more you can stimulate your brain with
Yeah.
different types of learning,
Keep it fresh.
the more likely you are to stay motivated and engaged.
Makes sense.
So speaking of keeping things enjoyable, let's talk about rewards.
Yes. Reward.
This is a fantastic way to make learning fun
Absolutely.
and celebrate those milestones.
It's like giving yourself a little pat on the back
Exactly.
for all your hard work.
The article suggests setting up a system
Yeah.
of rewards for meeting your study goals.
I like that.
So it could be a small treat, an evening out a new book.
Mm-hmm.
You've been wanting to read anything that brings you joy.
That's important.
It makes you feel good
It's got to feel good.
about your progress.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally, we come to the last tip,
Last but not least.
which is all about harnessing the power of visualization.
Visualization.
So
This is so powerful.
visualizing success
Mm-hmm.
can be an incredibly powerful tool
It really can.
for enhancing motivation.
Yeah.
So it's about picturing yourself achieving your learning goals
Okay.
and experiencing the positive outcomes
Yeah.
that come with it.
Like, what will it feel like
Yes.
when you've achieved that goal?
So imagine yourself confidently using your newfound knowledge,
Okay.
acing that exam, landing your dream job.
Yeah.
Feel the sense of accomplishment,
Mm-hmm.
the pride,
Yeah.
the excitement.
I love that.
So those positive emotions associated with achieving your goals
Right.
can be incredibly motivating.
They really can.
And it drives you to put in the effort
Absolutely.
needed to make those visions a reality.
Like, if you can see it,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
can achieve it.
So it's all about leveraging the power of your imagination
Yes.
to fuel your motivation
I like that.
and propel you towards your goals.
That's great.
So we've uncovered
Yeah.
the different types of motivation,
Yeah.
explored some practical tips
A bunch of them.
for boosting our drive,
We did.
and even touch upon the power of visualization.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What's that?
We're just getting started.
Uh,
There's a lot more to this conversation.
I can't wait. So stay tuned for part 2 of
Absolutely.
our deep dive into motivation and learning.
Awesome. Welcome back to our deep dive.
Yeah.
Before we jumped into those awesome tips from powerofmotivationnew.txt,
Yes.
we were talking about how understanding your unique blend of internal and external motivators
Right.
is really key
It is.
to unlocking your learning potential.
Yeah. It's like figuring out the secret code to your own learning superpowers.
I love that.
But,
Be real.
let's be real.
Staying
Staying motivated over the long haul can be tough.
it can be really tough.
Life throws curveballs, distractions pop up,
Right.
and sometimes that initial excitement just kind of starts to fade.
It does.
So how do we keep that fire burning, especially when things get challenging?
Well, one thing I always try to do
Yeah.
is reconnect with the why
Okay.
behind my learning goals.
So, like, why are you doing this in the first place?
Exactly. It's like having that North Star
I like that.
guiding you through those foggy moments of doubt. So it's easy to get bogged down
It is.
in the day-to-day grind of
Right.
studying or practicing.
Yeah.
But remembering WHY you started in the first place
Exactly.
can reignite that sense of purpose
It can.
and keep you going.
Yeah, whether it's acquiring a new skill for a career change,
Mm.
expanding your knowledge for personal growth,
Okay.
or simply pursuing a passion,
Right.
understanding that deeper why,
Yeah,
it really fuels your commitment
that makes sense.
and helps you push through
Mm-hmm.
those inevitable challenges.
It's like a secret weapon
It is
against procrastination.
procrastination.
Oh, I think we've all been there.
We've all been there.
You know that moment when you would rather clean the bathroom
Oh, yeah.
than face that textbook?
Or do the laundry.
Yes,
Yeah.
anything but that.
So how do we combat this motivation-sucking monster?
Well, I think, a lot of times procrastination stems from fear, overwhelm, or just a lack of clarity.
So I think the first step is really to identify that root cause.
So figure out why you're procrastinating.
Exactly. Like, what is it that's really holding you back?
So are you feeling overwhelmed by the sheer volume of information?
Right. Or are you afraid of failing?
Okay. Or maybe you're just not sure where to start.
Yeah, those are all really common reasons why people procrastinate.
That's such a good point.
And once you understand the why,
Mhm.
you can start to address the issue.
Okay.
So if you're feeling overwhelmed,
Mhm.
break that task down
Okay.
into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Bite-sized pieces.
Exactly. And if you're afraid of failing,
Yeah.
remind yourself that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process.
Such a good point.
Every expert was once a beginner.
Right.
And if you're lacking clarity,
Mm-hmm.
take some time to create a plan.
Okay.
Outline the steps you need to take to reach your goal.
I love that. So it's all about turning those big, scary monsters
All right.
into like manageable tasks.
Yeah. Make it less intimidating.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Break it down.
Sometimes you just need a little push
I
to
do.
get started.
Yeah, I need that all the time.
Have you ever noticed how, like, setting a deadline,
Oh, yeah.
even if it's just for yourself,
Right.
can suddenly create this sense of urgency?
It does.
It's like, okay, I got to get this done.
Yeah, it's like a little fire under your...
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what you're going to say. And deadlines,
Yeah,
even self-imposed ones,
Right.
can be incredibly motivating.
for sure.
They provide a sense of structure
They do.
and accountability
I think that's really important.
that can help you stay on track.
Absolutely.
So
Oh,
let's not forget about the power of reward.
oh yes, reward.
We touched on this earlier,
Safe.
but it's worth mentioning again.
It is.
Having something enjoyable to look forward to.
Like a little something something
Yes,
after completing a task.
can be a powerful incentive,
Oh, yeah?
whether it's a small treat,
A small treat
an evening out,
or a big treat.
or a big treat.
Right.
Something else that
Yeah.
brings you joy.
That's key.
Those little rewards can make a big difference
Take in.
in your motivation levels.
They can turn a have to
Yes.
into a want to.
It's like training your brain
Totally.
to associate learning
Yeah,
with positive feelings.
I love that.
Okay.
Great.
So shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
let's talk about feedback.
Feedback.
I think a lot of people see
Ah.
feedback as a negative thing.
It can be scary
Yeah.
to hear what other people think,
But it can actually be incredibly valuable
it really can.
for staying motivated
Mm-hmm.
and improving your learning.
It gives you that outside perspective
Yes.
that you might not have on your own.
So both positive and constructive feedback
Right.
provides valuable insights
It does.
into our strengths and
Mhm.
areas for improvement.
I think that's so important.
Yeah, it helps us identify what's working well and where we might need to adjust our approach.
Exactly.
So the key is to view feedback
Yeah.
as an opportunity for growth
Right.
rather than a judgment.
It's not about you as a person.
Yeah,
It's about the work
it's about the work, exactly.
and how you can improve.
So whether it's coming from a teacher, a mentor, a peer,
Mm-hmm.
or even self-reflection,
Yeah. That's a big one.
it's all data
It is.
that can help you improve
For sure.
your learning process.
And you know you're in control of
Yeah.
how you receive and process that feedback.
That's such a good point.
So don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions. Seek additional support if needed.
Right.
And most importantly,
Yeah.
don't let it discourage you.
It's all part of the learning journey.
It is.
Speaking of which, let's talk about self-care.
Oh, self-care.
I think a lot of people underestimate the importance of this
I think so too.
when it comes to learning.
People think it's all about like hitting the books
Yeah.
and just like pushing yourself.
Pushing yourself to the limit.
Yeah. But you have to take care of yourself too,
You do.
or it's not going to work.
So when we're feeling burned out,
Right.
stressed, or overwhelmed,
Yeah.
it's almost impossible
It is.
to stay focused and engaged
Yeah.
in our learning.
You can't do it.
It's like trying to run a marathon
I know.
on an empty
You're
stomach.
going to hit that wall.
You're going to hit that wall hard.
Exactly.
So make sure you're prioritizing
Yes.
those things that nourish
Your mind and body.
your mind and body.
Yeah.
Getting enough sleep,
Sleep is so important.
eating nutritious foods,
You are what you eat.
taking breaks,
Breaks are huge.
engaging in activities that bring you joy.
Yes.
It's all about finding that balance
Right.
between pushing yourself
Mhm.
and giving yourself permission
Permission.
to rest
Yes.
and recharge.
That's so important.
Because when you're feeling your best,
Yeah.
you're more likely to be motivated
For sure.
and ready to tackle those learning challenges.
Absolutely. Like those seemingly small acts of self-care
Yeah.
can have a huge impact
I agree.
on your overall motivation and learning success.
Okay, so we've talked about staying connected to your why,
We have.
breaking down tasks,
Yeah.
setting deadlines,
Mm-hmm.
rewarding yourself,
Yes.
embracing feedback,
That's a good one.
and prioritizing self-care.
That's essential.
What other strategies can help us maintain that motivation over the long haul?
You know, that's a great question.
So welcome back to the deep dive.
I'm glad to be back.
Me too. I feel like we've been on quite a journey so far,
We have.
exploring all these like practical tips
Yeah.
for boosting and maintaining motivation.
I feel like we've given our listeners a lot to think about.
We have, but now I want to talk about
Okay.
like the ultimate goal,
All right.
which is
Tell me.
cultivating a lifelong love of learning.
Oh, I love that.
Not just like learning for a
Mhm.
specific goal or outcome.
Not just to check a box.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. It's about developing that intrinsic drive
Yes.
to keep growing,
Mm-hmm.
expanding your knowledge
Yeah.
throughout your life.
I think a lot of us kind of lose
I agree.
that childlike curiosity
Yes.
as we get older.
We get bogged down in the day-to-day.
Exactly. We forget
Yeah.
how exciting it
Ah.
can be to learn new things.
Totally.
Like, remember when we were kids?
Yeah.
Everything was new and exciting.
It was an adventure.
It was an adventure.
Nearly a day.
And now it's like somewhere along the way,
Yeah.
learning became a chore
It did.
instead of an adventure.
Yeah. But you know what? I
Sure.
think that spark is still there.
Okay.
I really do. It's just waiting to be rekindled.
So how do we do that?
Well, I think it starts with embracing curiosity.
Okay, so how do we tap back into that sense of wonder?
Well, it's about being open to new experiences
What
and new
is-
perspectives.
So like step outside your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Explore different subjects.
Yeah.
Engage with viewpoints that maybe challenge your own.
That's a big one.
Right.
Because sometimes we get so stuck in our own ways of thinking
You do.
that we forget that there are other ways of looking at the world.
It's like becoming an explorer of knowledge,
I love that.
always seeking out
Yeah.
new and uncharted territories.
New perspectives, new ideas.
Yes.
It's out there.
And when you expose yourself
Yeah.
to new ideas and ways of thinking,
It stretches your mind
yeah,
and fuels your curiosity.
that makes sense.
And you start to see the world through a different lens.
I love that.
And that can be incredibly motivating.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So speaking of stretching our minds,
Okay.
another way to cultivate a lifelong love of learning is to embrace challenges.
Challenges.
I know.
We love a good challenge.
It sounds counterintuitive,
It does.
but hear me out.
I'm listening.
Challenges can be intimidating,
They can
but they're also incredible opportunities for growth.
huge opportunities for growth.
It's when we push ourselves
Right.
beyond our perceived limits
Like what we think we're capable of.
that we discover hidden strengths.
Yeah. You might surprise yourself.
You might surprise yourself and we develop resilience.
I think that's key.
Like, you know, that saying what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Right. It's so true. And
Sure.
the sense of accomplishment
Yes.
that you feel after overcoming a challenge
That was amazing.
is so motivating.
Yeah.
It just reinforces your belief
Mm-hmm.
in your ability to learn and grow.
Yes.
Even when things get tough.
And it builds that confidence
Right.
to tackle
Yeah.
even bigger challenges in the future.
And it becomes like a positive feedback loop.
I love that. So don't shy away
No.
from those learning challenges.
You embrace them.
Embrace them.
Bring them on.
Okay, so
Huh.
shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
I want to talk about finding joy
Okay.
in the process.
I like that.
So I think a lot of people see learning as this like
Yeah.
serious, arduous task.
Right. Like it's a chore.
Yeah.
Something you have to get through.
But it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't.
Learning should be an enjoyable
They
experience,
should.
not a chore.
Agreed.
And when you find joy in the process,
It becomes intrinsically motivating.
right, because you're like,
Okay.
oh, I actually like doing this.
Exactly.
So how do we make learning fun?
Well, it starts with choosing subjects and activities that you're actually interested in.
Oh, okay.
Remember that connect with your interest tip
Yes.
that we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
This is where it comes into play.
Like if you're passionate
Yeah.
about what you're learning,
It becomes an adventure,
it does.
a journey of discovery.
It's like finding a job you love,
Right.
and you'll never work a day in your life.
If you're truly engaged with the material,
Yeah.
learning becomes a reward in itself.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Try new things.
Yes, try new things.
Yeah.
With different learning methods.
Right.
Like mix things up.
Exactly.
Explore videos,
Videos are great.
podcasts,
They have a good podcast.
interactive simulations,
Those are fun.
hands-on activities.
Oh, yeah, hands-on.
So find what works best for you
That's key.
and keeps you engaged.
And keeps you coming back for more.
It's like creating your own personalized learning buffet.
I love that.
And the more variety you can incorporate,
Yeah.
the more likely you are to stay
Motivated.
motivated and engaged.
And avoid burnout.
Avoid burnout.
Because burnout is real,
It is.
especially when it comes to learning.
Okay, so another important aspect
Okay.
of finding joy
Yeah.
in learning
Mm-hmm.
is creating a positive
Right.
and supportive learning environment.
I think that's huge.
Surround yourself with people
Yeah.
who encourage your curiosity.
Yeah, like a good support system.
Yeah, and celebrate your achievements.
Who celebrate your wins with you.
Exactly. So join study groups, connect with mentors,
Mhm.
or simply just share your learning journey with friends and family
That are supportive.
who are supportive.
Yeah, because sometimes, you just need someone to cheer you on.
Exactly. Having that positive reinforcement
Right.
can make a world of difference.
It can.
It's like having your own personal cheerleading squad.
I love that.
And most importantly,
Yeah.
be kind to yourself.
Oh, that's so important.
Celebrate your progress.
Your progress, not your perfection.
Yes, embrace mistakes.
Mistakes are just learning opportunities.
Exactly.
In disguise.
And never lose sight
No.
of the joy in expanding your
Yeah.
knowledge and skills.
That's what it's all about.
So as we wrap up our deep dive
Yes.
into motivation and learning,
Mm-hmm.
remember that it's an ongoing journey.
It is a journey.
It's about continuously nurturing your curiosity,
Yeah. Stay curious.
embracing challenges,
Don't be afraid of them.
finding joy in the process.
Make it fun.
Yes, and creating a positive learning environment.
Absolutely.
And the rewards are immeasurable.
They are.
A lifetime of growth,
Growth.
fulfillment,
Yeah.
and the incredible satisfaction of unlocking your full potential.
It's out there waiting for you.
So keep exploring,
Keep learning
keep learning.
and keep that spark of curiosity burning bright.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time,
Happy learning.
happy learning, everyone.